How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
Is Zoe's Daily 30 supplement possibly the most scientific way to support your gut?
We think so, and so do Zoe's gut health scientists, Professor Tim Spector and Professor Sarah Berry.
With Daily 30, they've created a whole food gut supplement featuring over 30 hand-picked plants that are high in fibre, and the best part is that it easily fits in with your day. You can add it straight to the meals and snacks that you love and no steps required.
Loving that. Also, Daily 30 isn't a synthetic green powder or probiotic. It's far better because it has whole ingredients that are good for gut health and digestion.
So why use it, I hear you ask? Well, firstly, fibre is great for digestion and gut health, and Daily 30 is packed with it.
Secondly, eating 30 plants a week is more up-to-date advice than eating 5 fruit and veg per day.
Yes, diversity is king, and when you grind plants to powders, it destroys their food matrix. But Daily 30 is a whole food gut supplement, so it keeps all the benefits of eating 30 plants with none of the downsides.
And thirdly, and in our opinion the most important, it actually tastes great.
It does.
Unlike most supplements.
It really does. It's totally delicious and crunchy. We both use it to top it off on salads, scrambled eggs, on a bowl of yogurt and berries. I literally am sticking it everywhere.
I know, and my favourite thing is to sprinkle it on poached eggs and avocado on toast. Basically, we're obsessed with it and we use it on everything we can.
Ready to make Daily 30 your new healthy habit? Head over to zoe.com/daily30 to start this week.
We're offering all of our clubbers 10% off. Plus, you'll get a free Zoe tin and magnetic scoop with your order.
Go to zoe.com/daily30 and use promo code selfcare10.
That's zoe.com/daily30. Use promo code selfcare10.
Before we begin, clubbers, a quick trigger warning. This episode contains discussions of grief, death, and loss of a pet. Hello, everybody. I'm Nicole Goodman.
And I'm Lauren Mishkon, and welcome to Self-Care Club. Today's episode is a bit of a tearjerker. We're talking about pet loss and the very real grief that comes with saying goodbye to our furry companions.
Whether you've had to say goodbye to a pet recently, lost one suddenly, or you're still grieving years later, this one is for you. We know firsthand how deeply pets become part of the fabric of our lives.
It's funny how people sometimes treat pet loss as it's a kind of lesser grief, like you shouldn't be as devastated by the death of a cat or a dog as you would a human, but that's not how it works.
No, grief is grief.
Grief is grief, and pets are our companions. They're part of our routine, our comfort, our therapists, our little shadows, and they love us unconditionally. And when they go, the silence is deafening.
And it's not just the loss of the pet, it's the end of an era. The morning walks, the way they greet you at the door, the little quirks that made them them. You're grieving a whole routine, a whole chapter of your life. And there's actually research that shows the brain processes pet loss in much the same way as any other deep attachment loss. I'm not remotely surprised by that.
No, me neither. And actually in the last 10 years, the number of people getting in touch with the Blue Cross Pet Loss Support Service has almost trebled. Over 17,000 people called them in 2022. But it is a kind of grief that society doesn't always understand. And according to psychologists, pet owners can feel embarrassed when talking about the emotional impact the death of an animal has on them, making it tricky to process their grief. 85% of pet owners report loss and grief symptoms comparable to loss of family members. A third of pet owners have continued to grieve at 6 months, and almost 25% still after a year. Grieving the loss of a pet can be a deeply emotional experience, similar to mourning the loss of a family member. And while it's very normal to experience a range of emotions like sadness, shock and anger, or even guilt, it's important to recognise that your grief is valid and to allow yourself time to heal. So why are we doing this show today?
Why don't you tell us, Lauren?
We're doing this show today because I had to say goodbye to my dog Barker on Friday. My Springer Spaniel, who was very often mentioned in this show, wasn't he?
Well, he was a very big part of our lives.
He was.
More so yours than mine, but he was still a part of my life.
Well, he spent a lot of time at your house.
He did.
He spent a lot of time with Miley.
He spent a lot of time around my feet wondering what was going to drop from my hands, food-wise.
He always got treats from you.
Yeah, he did.
He loved to put his hot, smelly breath on your lap at lunchtime.
He did, every lunchtime. Loved it.
He loved to go and find your coat, remove it from wherever it was hanging and go through the pockets in case you had treats in it.
He always knew where the treats were. He could sniff those suckers out, couldn't he?
He really could. And him and Miley were very good friends.
They were best friends.
And they hung out together.
They did.
And it was super cute.
And he was the only dog that she was happy to have in the house. Any other dog, she growls at, she barks at, she guards things. But Barker, she just adored him.
It was very sad. She always would try and kiss him.
Oh, she always wanted a kiss. And he was never interested in the kissing.
Interested, was he?
No. Bit mean.
He just wasn't that into the kissing.
He wasn't.
But he did let her share his bed.
He let her share everything. His food, his water. She wouldn't let him share anything, may I add.
No. It was a very one-sided love affair, wasn't it?
It was a bit.
Anyway, we lost him on Friday. He was very old. He had a lot of problems in his last year. And on Thursday, he stopped eating, which is always a very bad sign in an old dog. And he was very restless. And I took him to the vet and he had a very high temperature. And on Friday, he wasn't better. So we went back to the vet and she did some tests and said that his temperature was even higher and he had a very big infection which had gone through his kidneys and up to his brain. And he was really suffering. He was really, really suffering. And it wasn't really an option. It was the kindest and only thing to do was to let him go. And it was really hard. And although obviously we'd been expecting it I'd been trying to prepare for 3 years because he was 3 years past his sell-by date, really. You're never really prepared and it did feel like a bit of a shock. And
why do you think that is, that it felt like a shock? I mean, because you used to talk about it, and I guess I'm asking this question for anyone else who's preparing themselves with an older pet, because you had been talking about it for like a good 18 months and assuming like every summer you go to Cornwall with him and for the last 3 years, every summer you're like, well, this is the last summer with him. And then you always got another summer with him.
Yeah.
So explain the shock part.
I think because in your mind, you have limited time with them and it's going to happen one day, but you can never quite get to that place where it's going to be that day. It's like the day's coming, but when the day actually comes, it feels very shocking because it suddenly becomes real. Yeah. Whereas before it's just been an idea of having to get used to, okay, I'm on borrowed time, I'm probably going to lose him at some point soon, to it then being that moment. So I wanted to explain what we did with the kids because I think a lot of people have this question and it was happening about lunchtime and Max was actually coming back from university the next day and I said to the vet, could we wait until tomorrow? And she said, if we're not going to treat him, which was pointless because he was too sick and too old to treat and the infection was too bad. She said he will have a seizure in a couple of hours and that would be terrible for you and terrible for him. So if we are going to do this, we need to do it soon. So I did phone Max and tell him. He was, he's 21. So he was brilliant about it. And he said, FaceTime me and I'll say goodbye at the vets. And then I said to Ollie, I don't know what to do about Josh because he's only 12. Should we just tell him that Barker died? And he said, no, I think we should give him the opportunity to say goodbye if he wants to. So luckily he was on a coach on the way to cricket. So we called him and I think it was a big shock for him.
Would you have called the school and told the school to sort of pull him out and take the phone call?
I did, but they said he's not he's not at school. Right, he's on the coach on the way to cricket. So
he had his phone on him,
He had his phone, yeah. So I had to phone him and say, listen, Barker's really sick. I think we have to say goodbye to him this afternoon. We can come and pick you up or you can stay at school. And if you want to come here, you don't have to be in the room. You can do whatever you want. But if you want to say goodbye, we'll come and get you. And he actually put the phone down on me because I think he got a real fright. He was very, very shocked by it. And then he messaged me a few minutes later and said, please pick me up. So we left Barker at the vet's. The vet was kind and compassionate beyond words. And I asked if she would sedate him while we were gone because he was very, very distressed at this point and he was yelping. And I was very worried about the children seeing him like that. So she said, yes, no problem. So we drove and picked Josh up from school and Zach came from work. So the four of us were at the vet's together.
And Zach is how old?
Zach is 19. It was actually his birthday. And Barker arrived on his 3rd birthday and left on his 19th birthday. So he's had a whole life with him. And Josh, of course, came when Barker was already 4. So he's never lived a day without him. So we were in the room together. We put him on the floor on a blanket and the vet said, I'm just going to be in the other rooms, say goodbye, take as long as you want when you're ready. Come and get me. And he was very dozy on morphine, but he was very settled. So we had lots of time to say goodbye and kiss him and cuddle him. And then he stood up, even on the morphine, he stood up, I think, to say goodbye and lay down again. And I think for me, I was obviously very upset, but I also understood I had to manage it because Ollie and the kids have never been through this before. I've had dogs all my life. So I have unfortunately had to go through this before. And I think I knew how awful it was going to be, which didn't make it less awful, but it gave me a bit of perspective. So I knew I needed to manage the day because otherwise everyone was going to fall apart. So I said, right, I think we should get the vet because we can't, it's not fair to let him suffer. And she came in and he already had a little port in his arm.
Did he know you were all there?
Definitely, 100%. And I lay on the floor with him and he was on my lap and I put one hand on his heart and one hand on his head and she put the injection in and it was pretty quick. It was 10, 20 seconds and his heart just slowed down and stopped. And he was asleep and, and then she said, okay, I'm going to leave you. Take some time to be with him. And Josh was amazing. He lay down next to his body and kissed him and stroked him. And it was so, it was very dignified. You're crying and I'm all right. And I don't know why, I think because I've talked about it so much this week. It was very dignified. It was very peaceful. It was very gentle. We all got closure by being there. And then we had to leave and the leaving was very hard. The leaving him at the vet's was very, very hard. And Ollie had been really good because while this was going on, he'd gone out to reception and dealt with, I think you have to sign consent for euthanasia. And then, we'd asked for him to be cremated and he'd gone out and done that. So we didn't have to, hang around in reception or do anything else. We could just go home. And we just went home and hung out and did a lot of crying. And we'd already arranged weeks ago for all the grandparents to come over for Zach's birthday dinner. And I said to the kids, do you want me to cancel? Because we can just sit on the sofa in our tracksuits and be sad. And I am down with that plan. Yeah. And the kids said, no, please let them come. It will be really comforting. And actually, it was so comforting. They've all got dogs. They all understood. They were so sympathetic and kind. And
well, your mum is also a pet bereavement counsellor, isn't she?
She is.
So I presume she's come into her own through this process.
Jackie has been in full effect this week.
We should have got her on the show.
We
should have got her on the show.
I was thinking that. The thing is that I have found amazing is that anybody who owns a dog or has ever had a dog gets it.
Yeah.
Gets it immediately, either because they've been through it themselves.
Yep.
Or because...
But they know the love they hold for that dog.
Exactly. And you project your own stuff of how you would feel if it was your dog. So I haven't had anybody say to me, oh, it's just a dog. You'll get another one. It's all right. It's not a person. Nobody said that. Everyone has been so, so, so kind. And it's been incredibly comforting, actually.
Oh, good.
Incredibly comforting just to feel that people get it. They get it. No one's been dismissive of it. No one's been like, oh, well, you'll be fine in a few days, you know.
No. You've lost a part of your family.
But you know what? It's been 6 days.
Yep.
It'll be a week tomorrow. And actually, as every day's gone on, I do feel a bit better and a bit stronger and a bit more with it. And I have, you know, washed all his bedding, and yesterday I took his food to the food bank, because I know when I worked at the food bank, there was always pet food there. And I thought, well, that's great. I feel like I'm doing something useful. People who can't afford to feed their pets, I've got a 12 kilogram bucket of food. I'm taking it, and all the treats. And that was good to do that, you know. And God, what can I tell you? It's hard.
Listen, I still, my childhood dog, Oliver, little miniature black and tan dachshund he was, and he had the biggest personality ever. And he died, how old was I? Had I moved out of home? I think I'd moved out of home. So I reckon I was about 23 when he died. I'm now 48, so 25 years ago. I still dream about him.
Do you?
And there are still times when I see a black and tanned miniature dachshund, I go straight over to this dog, and I just, you know, my heart just becomes full with this dog. I still miss him.
Yeah.
Not daily or actively, but there is still a place in my heart for that dog.
Yeah. I feel the same about all the dogs I've lost.
And we still talk about him, and we still talk about all the funny things he used to do. And he was so adored. And I remember the day. I remember the day so clearly.
It's amazing, isn't it? You never forget it.
Of course you don't.
James was telling us the other day about, he's got a dog, Teddy, who we often talk about, but he was saying the other day that he had a golden retriever that he lost many, many, many years ago. He's just showing me a photo on his phone and saying he still misses her. You know, they are a part of your heart.
They're irreplaceable.
They are irreplaceable. They are. And I think what it is that from the day you have them and raise them, it's just love. It's just pure love. That's all it is.
It's uncomplicated love.
Yeah.
Because they're just there. Did you put something up, like a poem?
Yeah.
Something about they
did.
Don't say anything, they don't demand anything. They're just always that presence beside you through good times, through bad times. They're just always there.
Yeah, they are. And I think I've said to Ollie over the last week, the thing about this feeling is there's nothing complicated in it. It's not like when a person goes and maybe you've had a complex relationship with them, or maybe there's some unresolved stuff there, or, you know, all the things that happen when a person that you love dies. It's so pure. It's like, I just love you and I miss you.
And you love me.
And that's it. And there's something so okay about that. So I think that's kind of what's really been helping. And like this, all I'm feeling is just loss. And someone sent me such a beautiful quote. They lost their dog very, very suddenly. She went for a run and she just collapsed and died. She was very young and it was terribly sad. So she texted me and she said, I often think of this quote, what is grief but love persevering? And that is it. That is it. And being sad is okay. And feeling the loss is okay. And it will never go, because I will always miss him. But as every day goes on, it's a little less raw. And also, I think it is the kindest gift you can give a dog in return for a lifetime of love and loyalty is to let them go when it's their time. You know, it's such a kindness. And I feel no guilt. I feel no guilt about it. I feel nothing bad about it.
And nor should you.
No.
You gave him a wonderful, wonderful life. You even bought him a buggy.
I did buy him a buggy. Now I've got to get rid of the buggy. This huge buggy sitting in my front garden.
I don't know what to say about the buggy.
Best 40 quid I ever spent, honestly. I think I feel very, very at peace with how the beautiful life he had, with the very dignified, peaceful end that I was able to give him, with those extra bonus years that I had with him.
And that you were all with him.
And
I love that you were all with him.
So I think it's because all of that happened, I'm okay with just being sad. It's okay. So should we go to a break, and then we're going to come back with some tips about how to cope.
Oh.
If you've shopped online, chances are you've bought from a business powered by Shopify. You know that purple Shop Pay button you see at checkout? The one that makes buying so incredibly easy? That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes it incredibly easy to start and run your business. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/promo. Go to shopify.com/promo.
Switch to Verizon Business and get more from your internet without paying more for your internet. Get LTE Business Internet starting at $39 a month when paired with select business mobile plans. That's unlimited data, and with it, unlimited possibilities. Start saving today with Verizon Business, ranked #1 in small business internet customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. Starting price for 25 megabits per second LTE internet plan with smartphone plan savings, plus taxes, fees, and economic adjustment charge. Terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
I think you're on mute.
Workday starting to sound the same?
I think you're on mute.
Find something that sounds better for your career on LinkedIn. With LinkedIn Job Collections, you can browse curated collections by relevant industries and benefits, like flex PTO or hybrid workplaces, so you can find the right job for you. Get started at linkedin.com/jobs. Finding where you fit. LinkedIn knows how.
To help us with this week's episode, we have Jackie Forrest Japp on the show. Jackie is a pet bereavement counsellor with diplomas in grief and bereavement counselling, and additionally, specifically pet bereavement counselling. She has worked in the medical field for 40 years and has extensive experience in dealing with patients and their families. The grief following the loss of a beloved animal can feel just as painful as losing a beloved human, although society is only just beginning to appreciate this. Jackie, welcome to the show. Should we, for some transparency, just mention that Jackie is also who, Lauren?
She's my mum.
Welcome to the show, Jackie.
Thank you.
Some of our clubbers would be very familiar with you because we've mentioned you a few times.
You have.
A few times on the show, but not in this context.
True.
So you're going to help us with this week because we're talking about grief of a pet and grief in general, but mainly grief of a pet. And this is your area of expertise.
It is.
How did you get into this area?
I got into this after my last dog died. He was a very, very special dog. He was there when my late husband died. And in fact, the night that my husband died, my dog, who was called Brody, he was a great big grey bearded collie, he came and he got on the bed and he lay down next to me and put his head on the pillow where my husband used to lie. And he did that every night for at least a month until he thought, okay, she's probably a bit better now. I can move to the bottom of the bed. So he moved to the bottom of the bed. And truly, if it hadn't been for Brody, I don't think I'd have got up in the morning. He was wonderful. And that made me think about how much pets mean to us and what a loss when they die. And when he did die, which is now 3 years ago, I was beyond devastated, and it brought back all the grief I'd felt when my husband died. So it was like a double whammy. And I thought I need to look into this more carefully. So I decided to do a course in grief and bereavement counselling, which is bereavement counselling for humans. And then I thought, maybe there's actually something here for when you lose your pet. So I had another look around, and sure enough, there was a course on pet bereavement counselling. So I did that one as well. I got diplomas with distinction in both courses,
Of course you did.
which I'm very proud of. And I thought that would be a really good thing to do, because when you lose an animal, people don't understand that it's such an incredible loss. It is the same as losing a human being. And for some people, it's worse than losing a human being. And people
Because often pets are better than human beings.
so
Most of the time.
So often pets are better than human beings. And they go, oh, it's just a dog,
Oh,
it's just a cat, get
no,
over yourself. And they expect you just to carry on with your life and go back to work the next day. And you've got this enormous, great hole in your life where this beautiful, warm, loving creature was and is now no more. So I decided that I would try and help people who had lost their pets and see if I could help them on, I hate this word, journey, but I suppose it is a journey.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing. And when Lauren and the family lost Barker last week, I did joke and say, I'll give you a discount.
But she charged me full price.
I don't know, I hope that I was able to be helpful.
You were very, very helpful, and you were very good with Josh, especially, I think.
Because children, it's very difficult with children. They don't really understand what death means. They know that the person's not there anymore, but they don't really understand that this is for always. They're never going to come back. It's very hard for them to process. And they've got a lot going on in their lives other than that.
Tell us, what sort of things did you say to Josh? So Josh is 12, isn't he?
Yeah.
What kind of things, how can people help? We'll get to themselves, but their kids as well, because obviously it's a big loss when a child loses a pet. What kind of things can they do? What kind of things should we be saying? How should we be managing that part of it?
Well, you need to let them ask whatever questions they want to ask and answer them as honestly as you can without frightening them, because they often want to know the circumstances of the death. It could have been an accident, could have been run over by a car.
Yep.
In Josh's case, he was put to sleep and he was there, he witnessed it, which is actually very, very helpful because he was able to understand what was going on. So they will have a lot of questions and you need to answer those. I have counselled a couple of teenagers actually who'd lost their dog, and I suggested to them they might like to make a memory box of photos or objects that their dog had, and didn't have to have it out all the time, but just make a memory box and put it away somewhere. And when they were feeling particularly blue, take the memory box out and have a look at it.
That's cute.
The other thing you can do is choose somewhere special if you're going to have their ashes to scatter their ashes. I mean, I had dogs for 40 years, so unfortunately I've had to do this many, many times. But we had 2 bearded collies, Bruce and Bailey, and when they died, we buried their ashes in the garden outside our bedroom window under a rhododendron bush. And I have to say, I've never seen a rhododendron bush flower so beautifully.
Oh, that's so nice.
So there are lots of things you can do. It doesn't ease the pain. The pain, you've just got to get through the pain and let yourself feel it. The same as if a person dies. You mustn't bury it inside you. If you want to cry, you cry. If you're angry, you're angry. You just have to let yourself feel whatever it is that you feel.
And go through the stages of grief, I guess. Just have some self-compassion. Is that your main tip?
Be kind to yourself is my main tip. Be kind to yourself.
She's giving me the glare, but I've actually been very kind to myself. I've been really good.
Good.
I'm crying, I've done talking, I've drunk water.
I've hydrated.
And wine.
Good.
Not do what I did, which was drink alcohol solid for a week after Brody died.
Do you see? Do you see where it comes from? Do you see now? No.
Yeah. So some self-compassion, some self-kindness. What else can people do?
Self-care.
Oh, yeah. That's always a
all
good
comes
word.
under that banner, doesn't it?
It all comes under self-care. Make sure you eat if you can.
Yeah.
Make sure you sleep.
Yeah.
Drink water.
Yeah.
Don't resort to alcohol and drugs. Talk to people. If you're at work, if you're employed by someone, explain to them and say, this has happened to me and I'm incredibly sad and I would like a few days off, please. And if that's not possible, then I'll take them unpaid.
Yeah.
But I need a couple of days to come to terms with it. Don't make yourself do that. And you're probably also not really going to be very good at your job because you're going to be so distracted.
Yeah.
You're better just go for a walk. Often helps. Walking helps most things.
Yeah. I guess it must be very difficult. And I don't know how you found this, Lauren, but because walking is something you do with your dog.
But you know what? I didn't want it to be a thing. And I thought the longer I leave it, the worse it's going to be. So the next day, I actually went to the woods and did my normal walk that I would do with Barker. I did go with my sister-in-law and with her dog. So I wasn't on my own because that would have been awful. She was like, are you sure? Do you want to walk somewhere else, somewhere new? And I said, no, I've got to do my normal walk because otherwise I was so worried it was going to become a thing in my head and I wouldn't be able to go back. And I saw my neighbour and he'd lost his dog 2 weeks ago and he was walking on his own and he's obviously known Barker for years, so it was actually quite nice to see him and have a chat, and it was fun. I actually found it very comforting, and I've done it a few times. I've done it this weekend and I've done it quite a few times since, and it's been okay, much more okay than I thought.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And the other thing you of course need to consider is, what are you going to do now? Are you going to get another dog? If you're going to get another dog, are you going to do it now? Are you going to wait? What does everybody else in the family think? Big decision.
Is there a right time, a wrong time?
Absolutely not. Everybody's individual. It's the same as when somebody dies. If your husband or your wife dies, is there a right time to find another partner? No, there's not. It happens when it happens.
Yeah.
So some people can't bear the absence, which we couldn't when Brody died. And we went straight out and got our next bearded collie. And some people can't. Some people wait for 6 months, a year and say, I can't do it. Grief, there's no right and wrong in grief. It's so individual.
And everybody grieves in their own way, right?
Everybody grieves in their own way. Everybody grieves differently. And they've got to be allowed to do that. It mustn't be any judgment about grief. You can't say to someone, oh, it's been 6 months, you should have moved on with your life. Who's the god of time on grief? There isn't any.
Yeah.
You grieve as long as you grieve.
Yeah.
It takes longer, much longer than you would hope and much longer than you think.
Thank you so much for coming in
You're
today.
welcome.
For people that want to know more about your work, how can they get hold of you?
Just look on my website, which is mypetgriefcounsellor.co.uk, which will tell you a bit about me and how you can contact me.
Lovely. Thank you so much for being here.
It was a pleasure to be here.
I've never heard Laura so quiet in an interview.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
Llegaron los nuevos McCrispy Strips, listos para aventurarse en la mezcla de mayo ketchup, la barbecue que quedó en el fondo de la cajita, hot fudge sundae y en la nueva creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Los nuevos McCrispy Strips, ahora en McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Tips with how to cope.
Acknowledging and validating your emotions. I mean, you know what? I have to tell you, I was not fine.
Right.
No, I mean how I always tell you, I'm fine. I was not fine.
But you're not meant to be.
I
It
know.
would have been so weird if you'd have been fine.
I know.
Like really weird.
Like I was wired wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like psychotic weird.
I think what I mean is I was okay with not being fine.
How could you be fine?
Yeah. And
This seismic thing happens in your life. You can't just pretend it hasn't happened. You just can't.
no. And it comes in waves, you know, and then you're all right for a few hours and then the
And
tears
what I
come.
found interesting, actually, that you kept saying, I'm being very brave. I haven't cried for 20 minutes, that kind of thing. And I kept saying to you, you know, being brave can also be just sitting there sobbing in a corner. Just feeling what you're feeling is usually actually the real bravery, isn't it? Like what you're encouraging Josh to do.
And I did, and I have.
Yeah.
And I did spend apart from when I was asleep the entire weekend, sitting on the bench in the garden. I found it very comforting just to be there, just to sit there. And the children kept saying, Mum, you've been on that bench since 8 o'clock this morning. I said, it's like the only place I can be, you know. I feel very settled here. And just happy to sit here quietly. And it was very comforting. I was doing nothing. Honestly, I was doing nothing. But it was just nice to just be there.
Yeah. Memorial bench.
Yeah, the memorial bench. Seek support. Talk to friends, family, or you can get professional support, as you mentioned. My mother.
Your Jackie.
My mother.
Your Jackie,
my
Jackie. Yeah.
She is a pet bereavement counsellor, and there's also lots of phone lines like the Blue Cross. I have found that talking about it has really helped, and actually I haven't been able to not talk about it, and the more I talk about it, the more helpful I find it. Even my neighbour, we happened to park at the same time the other day. He's like 30 and he got out of the car. He was like, "You all right?" And I was like, "I'm not all right. Barker died. And he was like, "Oh my God, let me give you a hug." And I just cried all over him and talked about it with him. But I've done it with everybody. And yesterday, do you know who I saw yesterday? David the dentist.
Did you cry to David the dentist?
Yes. And also David the dentist, he knows Barker because I always took Barker to our dental appointments because he was always allowed in the surgery.
Was he?
Yeah, always. Always. And I actually stopped the car and said, "David, we lost Barker." And he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. What a special dog."
You stopped the car.
I did. So I have found the talking, I haven't been able to stop talking about it. And actually, I found it so helpful. So helpful.
Keep items that remind you of your pet.
Yes.
Like that. Dedicate a specific area in your home to your pet's memory, like your memorial bench in your garden.
Yeah, I'm getting a plaque for the bench with his name on it. I've also got, I actually had this made years ago, a piece of art. It's like a 3D box. And in it is it's quite hard to explain, like a scene of the fields where we took him and a little tiny figure of Ollie and a little tiny figure of Barker.
Oh.
And
that's very cute.
Yeah, it's lovely. And that's been in our kitchen. I bought it for Ollie for his 50th birthday, and I've actually put Barker's collar on top of it. Oh. And so that's nice, you know, that's like a little place for him.
You can get closure by having a little ceremony. Are you going to do that?
Yes.
Are you?
Yeah. We have asked for him to be cremated, and when his ashes come back in a few weeks, we are going to go for a walk to the local duck pond, where he spent the majority of his life
jumping in,
escaping in there, and
driving
shall
you crazy.
We say bothering the wildlife. The police got called once because he wasn't allowed in the pond. So do you know what? He is going to be allowed in the pond forever, because that's really where he wanted to be.
Are you allowed, serious question, are you allowed to scatter his ashes there? Is it okay for the ducks?
Well, I probably won't scatter them in the water just in case. I'll probably just do it around, you know, just in case. Because I actually don't know if it's okay for the ducks, but I don't want to.
Well, I saw this post the other day that you can't give ducks bread. So I don't know.
It bloats them terribly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think the ashes will be very good for them.
No, I'll probably do it around.
Yeah.
But yes, we are going to do that.
And of course, the most important one, well, not the most important one, but the one that we like is to focus on your self-care.
Yeah.
Which is what you were doing at the weekend, right? Sitting on the bench, being mindful, being where you felt settled.
Yeah.
Just prioritise your physical and your mental well-being, as in get enough sleep, drink enough water, eat some lovely nutritious meals, distract yourself, and don't be alone.
Yeah.
Be with the people that make you feel safe.
Yeah. I couldn't be by myself for days, like not even for a couple of hours. I had to be with somebody. I found being alone very, very, very hard. So I would just say, take comfort in the people around you and talk to the people who understand and get it. And it's been so lovely, the people who've, you know, just the people who've reached out and made time to message, and it's made a lot of difference. I've done so well. I've done the whole show without crying. And I'm not allowed to cry because I've had this lash lift yesterday and it said, don't get your eyes wet.
You've done better than me. I cried much earlier.
I mustn't get my eyes wet for 2 days.
Okay, I'll do these points
Thank
then.
you.
Points to remember.
Yes.
Grief. It is a process and there is no timeline for grieving. It's normal for feelings to come and go in waves. That is such a normal part of grief, and it can hit you like a freight train and then the next minute you're okay.
Yeah.
That's grief in a nutshell. Please be patient with yourself. Healing takes time. Be kind and allow yourself to grieve at your own pace. Allow yourself to feel all the feels. It's very important to ask for help. So don't hesitate to reach out to your friends, family, or professionals for support. And there is no right or wrong way to grieve. Everyone experiences grief very differently. So don't compare your experience to others or someone that you might see on TikTok or Instagram. Just feel what you feel. Focus on how you are, what you need, and what is best for you. And let's just quickly talk about things not to say to someone grieving a pet.
Yes.
Oh, you could get another one. Oh,
Yeah.
That is awful.
It's not a goldfish from a fair.
No.
It's your companion and best friend.
Best friend.
For many, many, many years.
Best friend.
Yup.
And he was the only being in your life that you told that you loved him on a daily basis.
Oh, at least once a day.
Yeah.
If not 10 times a
Yeah.
day.
And told him how handsome he was.
All the time.
Yeah. She does not do that to everybody else,
No.
may I say. So good for you, Barker. Good for you. And I think that kind of comment can feel so dismissive and so diminishing.
Yeah.
Can't it?
Yeah.
And it's insulting.
Yeah.
It's insulting to your grief. It's insulting to your pet.
Yeah.
It's just insulting to your family unit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't say that.
No.
Also, it wasn't a person.
Yeah. I mean, that is...
It's not helpful.
It is technically true. It's not a person. And obviously, I would never compare losing a pet to, the loss of a person very dear to you. It's not the same. It's a very unique kind of heartbreak because...
And love.
Yeah. It's unique in itself.
Yes.
It's
There is no love like the love of a pet. It's just stands alone. And the bond stands alone.
It does. It does. But just be compassionate.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Just be compassionate.
Yeah.
So moving forward, I mean, and I kind of don't really want to do this piece because we've just encouraged everyone just to be where they are whenever they need to be there. But it's not about forgetting. It's just integrating the love and memory into your life and to who and how you are.
That's what you're saying. You still miss Oliver and you still remember him and think about him. And it's been years,
25
years. So, you don't forget them ever.
My friend has a miniature black and tan dachshund. Ozzy, his name is. I love seeing Ozzy. I just love Ozzy. Ozzy has a special place in my heart because...
Of course.
Because, yeah.
And every time I see a black and white Springer Spaniel, I think I will feel exactly the same.
I mean, when I see there's a few, there's actually a puppy Springer Spaniel round by where I walk the dog.
Yeah.
And I love seeing this dog.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a little barker.
Yeah.
Mad. He's mad, this dog.
They are mad.
He's
They
mad.
are mental.
Some people get paw print tattoos. I suggested that to you the other day and you balked at the idea.
You suggested I got a paw print in the bench. I won't be.
You're not going to get, but a tattoo's okay.
No, I won't be getting a paw print tattoo either. I won't be doing either of those things. No, that's not for me. But lots of people do that. You can donate to animal shelters in their pet's name. You can plant a tree. You can get a memorial bench and put a plaque on it like you're doing, which is gorgeous. You can bury their ashes and put a plant there where you bury them.
Sweet. That's
cute.
sweet.
Lots of people do that.
I
That's
love
very
that.
Sweet. Also, I saw a lovely idea where you can get a plant pot and put a special plant in it, like a house plant, and then you can put their collar around the plant pot.
Oh, that's cute.
And grow something in it.
I love that.
I mean, I might do that. So if you are grieving a pet right now, please know that your pain is valid and you are not alone, and we are sending you much love. And if you do want to share your story, we are always listening, so please drop us a message or email. And until next time, please give your pets an extra cuddle from us. We will be back next week. I'm expecting a lot of emails of people who've lost their pets now, which is going to be sad and also comforting because, you know, we're all in this together.
Yep. Thank you. We'll be back next week.